left in it, so you're gonna have 2 breaks.
Okay.
2 breaks, okay.
Do you want to get into the screenshot there?
You fix the one?
Hi guys, we're on Facebook Live.
Are we already? Hi.
I'm Susie here in the studio with me today on Togethrfm, and we're just going to be on. So in a few months we're going to be talking about. Susie's going to talk about cognitive behaviour and weight loss and different therapies. So any questions? I'm sure she'd be happy to answer anything you have.
Absolutely, yeah. Fire away.
15 seconds.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Karina here on Togethrfm. I'm here in the studio today, and I'm delighted to be joined with my guest today, and we're going to have a good old chat with Susie Ladola. And she's going to be talking about cognitive behaviour therapy and weight loss and all the great things that she's doing out there. So welcome to the show.
Thanks,
today,
Karina.
Susie.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by what you do. It was a recent... I recently got to see what you do through a new, Women's Inspire networking group.
Yeah.
And you're new enough to the group,
I am,
so
yeah.
it was great to see all the work that you do.
Thanks.
So I suppose we could go back a little bit, maybe start at the beginning and talk about your journey. What led you to all this?
Okay, well, to start at the very beginning, Karina, okay, we'll have to go back probably 30 years.
Okay. That's okay with me, yeah.
Okay, so I suppose I'm just typical, like many people out there who are never happy with their body and what they look like, and are constantly trying to lose weight. And so I was no different. And as far as I remember back, I was always trying to lose weight, even though I really didn't need to lose weight. So then, as life went on, I had my 3 children, and after my 3rd child was born, I stayed at home. Then I gave up work and I worked at home. And I suppose I became kind of a helicopter mother and took over my life, and I forgot myself in it a little bit, I think. And so I started to eat irregular meals, and not necessarily unhealthy, but maybe irregular and too much. And chocolate, I really loved chocolate all my life. So I ate loads of chocolate. So I got into, I ate loads of chocolate. And what I came to realise later on then, that's at the end of the story, is that every time I was stressed or tired, I would reach for chocolate, because I was hoping to get a kick from it, or a boost of energy, or take away this tiredness. But I didn't realise that then. So anyway, the weight spiraled out of control. And then when I was about 52, and my children were now grown up, and I said, no, if I continue that way, what is my life going to look like? What is it going? I'm going to be, my joints are going to be bad, and I was so overweight that going up the stairs was difficult, and so all of that came into it. And at the same time, I went back to education when my kids had grown up. So after my last one was in secondary school, a friend and myself decided to go back to college, and so I studied then different things. Yeah, I studied geography, linguistics, and then fantastic. I went and studied psychology and psychotherapy. But during a psychotherapy degree, you have to do a lot of self-development as well. So I had to go into my own therapy, basically, and that's when I started to realise, okay, this is maybe not the be-all and end-all, I need to change myself. And change is difficult, as we know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so any type of change is really, really hard. You have to face up to it, first of all, and recognise that you need to change.
I think it's fantastic you went back at that stage in your life.
Thanks,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny when you're so busy over the years raising your children, and you do neglect yourself, and
you
do forget about the capabilities that you have. And I think that it's when you find yourself, really, when you kind of come out of that, because you've learned so much over the years about compassion, the person you want to be. When you have children, I think then when you leave that situation and you go back out and you start finding yourself again, you discover how amazing you are and God forever you are. Absolutely. So Fair play. So you would have
Thanks.
been, would have been 50, like, 50.
Well, I was 46 when I started.
Brilliant.
But then I don't know, mature students have this,
God, you look great.
once they start, they can't stop. Once you start learning, you want to keep going and go and learn more and more and more.
Yes.
So I did the 1 degree, and then I went and did a psychology degree, and then I did a
Fantastic.
psychotherapy degree, and currently I'm doing a master's
Oh my God,
in
that's
CBT.
amazing.
But anyway, I just love learning. But yeah, so it was later on in life. But as well, when I was studying for my degrees, you're sitting down a lot. And I don't know if, when you're sitting down and you're doing essays and you're writing thousands and thousands of words, so you deserve a treat.
Oh, yes.
So you'd be eating and eating and eating through the degree, basically,
To
and
help
put
you
on
through
another
it.
2 stone.
Yeah.
So that was just, but eventually, thank God, I sort of realised this isn't the way forward, So anyway, cut through all this then, I said, right, midlife crisis was coming in then at 52, and I said, oh my God, I'm getting old now, and look at me, and what's going to happen.
And look at you, you only look 30.
Oh yeah, thanks. I wish.
Amazing.
So anyways, I went to a gym, and I said, okay, I'll try that,
Yes.
And I started to train there, and I got a nutritional plan as well. That was really a good one, it was really sustainable, healthy food, regular meals, you could really. It was also a food plan that helped you allow and balance your sugar levels, so you were eating in a sustainable way. And that was just a food plan I took to. And it was the first time ever where I said, I'm not hungry, I'm not craving chocolate. I was starting to build in my own psychology experience.
Brilliant.
And the cognitive
It's all a
behaviour.
mindset, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really have to be in the right place
Exactly.
in your head,
Yeah.
and really start there.
Yeah.
But the diet you must have been on, it was obviously something that,
Yeah.
did you wean yourself off sugar? Because I think
Yeah.
it's so addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
especially if you're
absolutely,
rewarding
yeah.
yourself. I said it's too. I'm addicted to chocolate as well, but
Okay.
as I said,
You
I
don't
think,
look it.
but I do try. So tell me more.
Yeah,
So
well-
the diet you're on, what type of diet was this?
Well, it was just eating 3 main meals a day and two snacks, basically, and having protein with every meal, and eating healthy fats. And I think a lot of people who are doing diets, they eliminate fat from the diet as well. And so therefore, you're still going to crave. So if you're eating healthy fats like nuts or avocados or coconut oil or olive oil and that kind of thing, in moderation, obviously,
Yes.
but still you're giving that body that fullness feeling. So you're not hungry, and your blood sugars are leveled out as well. So, I'm not a nutritionist.
It's very
but
interesting.
Yeah,
because I
it's
think as well, the thing is, bread was something I used to think that you had to have every
Yeah.
meal,
Yeah.
and really I've actually eliminated a lot
Yeah.
of bread because it doesn't agree with me.
yeah.
I seem to get a bit of a tickle in my throat, it's
Yeah.
the wheat. But I know that there's certain things that I'm intolerant to. And sometimes I'll just have it just because I just like it so much,
Yeah.
But bread is really, what do you think? Like, bread is one to kind of
Yeah,
try and
well,
cut back on, is it?
I very rarely eat bread now, I have to say, and I don't miss it. But like that, I would have thought, what am I going to have for lunch if I can't have
On
bread?
I know, but it's
But
so
now
much.
it's like that. If I eat bread, for me, what happened was if I ate starchy carbohydrates like bread or pasta or potatoes, they wouldn't fill me up. They actually would have the opposite effect. I would be more hungry.
Right, yes.
So, but not everyone is like that. So everyone has to find their own,
Yeah.
what suits them. But that suited me, cutting that out. Not completely, but reduced it drastically. And I found I was less hungry by just adding protein to every meal and every snack. So, have the snack would be with Greek style yogurt and nuts, that's the protein there, with some fruit, and the main meals would all have either fish or chicken or meat in it, and salads and vegetables. So I know it sounds, at the start I was looking at it, I'm going, oh my God, I'm not going to do this, this is just not me. But once you do it for a week or two, and then it becomes a habit, and I'm still doing it today, and this is 3.5 years later,
Yeah.
I actually now look at and eat like that.
It's your lifestyle.
It's exactly,
change
but it takes time.
Yeah, it does. You have to
Yeah.
build on that, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
my goodness, so you've been busy all over these years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love it.
And you love it.
Yeah, so
Great.
from going through this own experience and reading a lot of research on weight loss, and I found that the best way to lose weight is actually a healthy food plan, obviously, some exercise, and then the element that was really crucial was some form of cognitive behaviour therapy. And the reason for that is that I mean, everyone knows what to do to lose weight. But the hard part is to actually carry it out and stick with it.
Absolutely, that is the hard part.
So,
Yeah.
so the CBT, I've developed an 8-week program which I run small groups in. And I've been doing this for over a year now. And it's 8 weeks where people come in who follow a certain plan. You know, you try and adapt a food plan to suit them. But they are meeting once a week in a small group. And we go through how to change your behaviours. Okay, so how do you change your behaviour around food, around exercise, your habits, you know, and how to deal with emotional eating. Like I said, my emotional eating was stress and tiredness. So everyone in the group tries to figure out what is their trigger to overeat, and then we find alternatives. So if you're stressed and you're eating, you're not going to be less stressed. You're going to be more stressed because you're going to beat yourself up afterwards.
Yes.
So we're trying to find out what can you do instead of when you're stressed, instead of eating, what can you do? You know, sometimes it might be go for a walk, or maybe you need to lie down and have a little snooze, or, you know, go phone a friend, or, you know, read a book. Yeah,
really distraction.
Exactly. But it's different for everybody. Yeah. And in the course we do, everyone gets a chance to figure out what it is for them.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it really helps as well to work in a group, because everybody's in the same boat, and everybody's in the same
supporting each other,
and that's what it's all about, really. Support, you know. And I think that it is very easy to kind of grab something and eat and think that that's going to satisfy you, but really, and very often, you know, it's something else that you need satisfied, you know, emotional needs. And I think that's why I'm kind of think it's fascinating that you can connect the two, really. So it's not just a case of addressing the issue with the diet. It's addressing the main cause of that, the root cause of that.
Exactly, the root cause, and then find solutions to it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So find a way that works for you. So cognitive behaviour therapy is, you know, cognitive means your thoughts, okay? And then behaviour obviously is your habits. So we work on the two things. We work on, first of all, the behaviour and the habits, what we were just saying about finding alternative habits.
Yes.
But also the cognitive end of it is that bit where you're going, you come home from a stressful day and you're on a weight loss plan, whatever that may be, and you want to lose weight. And you come home from work on Friday night and say, thank God that week is over, I'm exhausted, now I deserve a bottle of wine.
Yes.
So you have the bottle of wine and then a takeaway because you deserve it.
Yes.
And of course you're not going to be losing weight. And then what happens is you beat yourself up afterwards. You say, what did I do that for?
Yes.
You know?
We all know that feeling, don't we?
And then you go, what you do, you beat yourself up, and then you actually, some people go, I'm useless. You know, what did I do that for? I'm useless, I'm never going to lose weight. And get really down on themselves.
Yeah.
And so that leads to coming off the healthy lifestyle again. I'll start again on Monday. Yes. Monday comes and goes, and you can't get back on it.
No.
So we try and learn also to deal with that. So instead of saying, I deserve a treat, that treat, let's make that something else. You know, let's say, okay, I deserve a treat, but it doesn't have to be the takeaway. It can be something else.
I think absolutely. I think, you know, preparation's a lot to do with it, you know, and if you can plan these things, I think everything comes from preparation. You know, if you plan, and that means like having the right sort of healthy snack that you can kind of grab.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise you just end up grabbing, you know, the unhealthy snacks. If they're there, it's just something you just need to get that fix, you know. And it's easier said than done to say, oh, can go out for a walk or whatever else. But really, you know, you can distract yourself in other ways, you know.
You can,
I suppose there is things.
But that's the habit, isn't it, Karina? It's where you say, okay, every time, say, I'm tired, I'm having a bar of chocolate. Okay, that's what I did. So now you're trying to break that habit.
Yeah.
So you set yourself a little goal, and there's a way of setting goals a certain way as well on the program. You know, we sort of look at one small little change at a time.
Absolutely.
And say, right,
the small steps.
Exactly. So if I have obviously 7 days in a week, I'll try and do maybe twice this week where when I'm tired I go and have a rest rather than take a chocolate if I can, you know. So if I set myself up for, okay, I'm going to do twice this week, and I reach that goal at the end of the week, I'm going to feel motivated.
Absolutely, and more empowered.
Positive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, okay, I have to do this now every single day, and I only did it 3 times, and then you go and beat yourself up again.
And I think that's the thing. I think, you know, there's nothing more satisfying than being able to kind of overcome this and be able to take more control of your life, you know. And food and bad behaviours are something that are very they're just bad habits, you know, and we can all fall into those, and it's very easy. But you're right, you shouldn't beat yourself up, because tomorrow's a new day, it's a new start, and if you get the right support and you get the right plan in place, well, then anything's accomplished. You can accomplish anything in life, you know. Really you can. And I think you're a great example of that, because I think you've been a phenomenal example, because you know you've gone back and you went back and you studied psychology and psychotherapy, and you went back and you did these things. And 46 is you know, I think that's when you kind of come out of yourself and you realise you were destined for other things, and you're actually living the life that you want to live, and you're able to give something back now and do some great work with people and change lives. So hopefully, it's absolutely it's just phenomenal. It's fantastic. I think we're going to take a little break now, and we'll be back in just a moment to talk to Susie. Hi guys. There's that frog
There's
again.
Questions,
How you doing? Anybody got questions for us? We'll start at the beginning. Hi everybody. Great to have you with us. Hi JJ. Victor and Shane. Let's see, do we have anybody questions? Hello JJ, Karina, another Karina, yes. Patrick Mercer. Hiya Patrick, how you doing? Dan and Marty and Anthony, Rachel. Any questions there?
Oh, here's one of my cousins.
One of your cousins. Very good. Does anybody have any questions for Susie? Susie'd love to answer any questions you might have. Martin, George, let's see, Caroline, Jess. No questions just yet. Hi, Sinead. Hi, everybody, and Jess.
Hi.
Yeah, so any questions on weight loss? Perhaps it's the new year, and you know, I'm sure all of us have binged out over Christmas, and we'd like to some tips on and suggestions on, you know, what might be a good way to kind of get over those after Christmas, what would you say, after Christmas, January blues.
Yeah, a lot of people, they had the New Year's resolutions and they're starting to falter now, isn't it?
Yes.
They're starting to sort of forget, and but the thing is to, you know, if you take it really small into small steps, and a lot of people have a problem with that, because they think, which is another unhelpful thinking, where it's all or nothing.
Yes.
Either have to do all of this now, I have to go to the gym 5 times a day, and I have to cut out all my bread and sugar and everything all tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
And it doesn't work.
No,
you can't do it. It's not sustainable.
It's not. You have to be practical and realistic, and what's manageable, really, you know, it's what's manageable. Hi Eileen and Sinead. Hi everybody. Great to have you with us today. Any questions for Susie? She'd be delighted to answer them. So we're going to be back on the radio now in just a moment. And we're good. I'm learning loads already now. Yeah. Well, no, it is. It's a good time to do this, because I think January is one time, as you said, New Year's resolutions. We all have great plans and great. You know, we start the year as we want to. You know, we want to go throughout the year. We start the year, and it's a good idea to have a plan in place. And
planning is so important. That's
planning is
really
crucial.
The number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in the groups that I run, that I ask the groups at the end, you know, what do you think is the most important thing for you to help you stay, you know, focused and continue with a healthy lifestyle? And everyone says planning. That's the most important thing for them.
Absolutely.
To sit down once a week, take a half an hour and plan out what you're going to, your groceries, what are you going to cook, what are your snacks going to be. Prepare a few snacks in advance. Chop up the veg, chop up the peppers, you know, have a bit of fruit in the fridge chopped up.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think fruit's always a good one if you,
you know, it's not that hard, but it's like that, it's doing it slowly. It's sneaking it in, really.
I might ask you some questions on children and things you might suggest there, on alternatives to sugar as well. That might be a good one, you know.
Okay, look, I'm not a nutritionist, you know, so I don't really...
Okay, well, we could talk about children. It might be a good one to talk about children. How you might suggest approaching that, because obviously their behaviours and their thought process is very different. It's kind of you know, trying to cut out, change their mindset as regards sugars. It's a difficult one, I know.
Yeah,
but I give you out there want to know this one.
I'll give you a laugh. My first daughter, she's 30 this year, and when she was born, she didn't eat sugar for 2 years. I never gave her any. And people used to say to me, the poor child. So it was even then, it was in my mind, you know, but the poor child, would you not get an Easter egg? And I said, no, she didn't. She didn't know any
Yeah, she didn't know any
different, you
different,
know.
this is it.
So,
Yeah,
Definitely
absolutely.
but
No,
it didn't
no.
work then with the other two because that was then, you know, a little bit
15
harder.
seconds.
But,
Okay,
yeah.
we're back on. Bring any questions on you might have, guys. Good to have you with us. Thanks. And we're back. We're back here in the studio with Susie Ladola. No, I'm curious, really. I think, you know, it's a great name. You're originally from, as I said, you were telling me from your
Yeah.
background, you're from Austria.
Yeah, that's
Austria.
right, Austria, from Vienna. Yeah.
And how long have you lived in Ireland?
Oh God, 25 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I left Austria when I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went and worked in Germany, and that's where I met my husband.
Okay.
And we then travelled to South Africa. I lived there for a while. 2 of my children were born in South Africa. And then we moved back to Austria, and then we moved to Ireland. And we're here now 25 years.
Brilliant,
So-
yeah. So you did a bit of travelling while you
A
could.
little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
During the break, we were talking a bit about your daughter
Mm-hmm.
and about her habits, because I think, you know, that's something I'd love to know about, to talk a bit about, because I think children are the worst ones for trying to kind of change
Yeah, it's
their
hard,
behaviours,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
very
and I think
hard,
it is
yeah.
very difficult, and it's a kind of a culture of sweets and, you know,
Yeah.
it's the treats, and it's
Yeah.
all about that, you know,
Yeah.
and I think we're building, you know, them up for worse situations, you know,
yeah,
and there's
yeah.
all talks of diabetes, and the worrying part is that, you know, the sugar intake that they're having now is way more than we ever would have had as
Yeah.
kids. So setting them up for something that really is not good, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, so your daughter anyway, you didn't give her sugar, and you were
That's
saying,
right, yeah.
couple
For
of
the
years.
first 2 years, the poor
We
child.
should have kept that
Poor
on.
child, yeah.
Yes.
But she actually now, I didn't give her any sweets for 2 years. So she was my first child, so she didn't have anyone else around. You know, she didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But funny enough, she's now still not really into it. You know, she'd have the odd sweet here and
Amazing.
there, but she doesn't really have a sweet tooth. But in terms of children, I think children always look to the adults as role models.
Absolutely.
You know, that's where they learn their behaviours and what they're going to do. So I think as adults, you can model behaviour to the child. So if you're not eating the sweets and the cakes and all of that, and if you're choosing different food, the child will follow that,
Yes.
you know. And
Very good point. Yeah.
yeah, so and it's also the reward, the whole reward thing that
Yes.
starts as a child. So you know how many children, when they hurt themselves, get as a reward some lollipop or an ice cream.
Yes.
So what happens is typically is that dopamine is released. Okay, so the brain remembers. Okay, if I'm hurt, or if I'm not feeling great, go-to is sugar, high fat, high sugar, because that makes me feel better because the dopamine has been released.
Yes.
So what you do as an adult, when you're not feeling great, your brain goes, I know where you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the cake, here's the chocolate, it'll make you feel better. And it does. You know, the dopamine is released, but it's short-lived,
It
you
is.
know. So there's other things you can do to release dopamine, you know, exercise or eat other food like avocados or nuts or bananas or chicken and beef. They also release dopamine. So you can replace all that.
Okay.
But again, you have to learn that. You may not know that.
It's like
So-
anything we have to learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the same with children, go back to children, you know. So when they hurt themselves, really what they want is a hug.
Yeah.
They don't really need an ice cream or a chocolate or anything like that. You can just give them the attention and give them a hug and be with them, you know, and let them, know that somebody's there to pick them up, basically. That's
Absolutely.
more important, I think.
It is more important. You're so right. I think that isn't that a wonderful way for children to be able to, remember, things rather than associating
Yeah.
a fall or something that's happened with a treat. To be able to associate that with some contact, some sort of comfort. In
Yeah.
another form.
Yeah.
Which would be a lot more beneficial and more positive, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a tricky one because it's hard for us to change our mindset, but really we
Absolutely.
need to kind of set things up for our children and give them
Yeah.
other ways to kind of think, and it is all in our heads. We're computers. We all are living
Well, this
computers.
is it,
We
yeah.
all have our
You're
ways
programmed, yeah.
we're programmed.
Yeah,
And
we're programmed to find the easiest path, the
Right.
path of least resistance.
Yes.
And that's why it's so hard to change behaviour, because your prehistoric brain is programmed for survival. of the species.
Yes.
So the minute you're changing behavior, it means danger.
Mhm.
Okay, so the body, the brain goes on alert and says, this is danger, It's the same when I started to train in the gym. Like I said, 3.5 years ago, I couldn't go up the stairs. And now I train in the gym. I train really hard. I absolutely love it. I train with I'm lucky enough to be able to get a trainer in the gym. His name is Kevin, and he trains with me. And he's shown me stuff that I've never ever imagined I could do. Lifting weights and doing cardio work that I would have died 3 years ago. So, but the brain goes danger, danger, danger when you start to train or when you start to change your diet, because the prehistoric brain is afraid of the survival of the species, because in the prehistoric times change meant danger. Change meant danger, and therefore the brain had to protect you, and it's sort of. When food was there from the hunt, basically everyone ate, and ate loads and loads and loads, and then because you didn't know when the next meal is going to come, but now the next meal is only as far as outside here, and it's everywhere, and we can eat all the time, and all this automatic stopping. We're not in tune anymore. When are we hungry? When are we not hungry? So that's another thing I do on the course, is helping people to tune back in. Am I emotionally hungry? Am I physically hungry? What's the difference?
To identify with that, really.
Exactly. And when am I physically hungry? Don't let it go that you're so hungry that you want to eat a whole cow. Start eating when you're feeling a little bit hungry, and stop again before you feel like Christmas dinner full.
Yes.
So try to calibrate that again. Yeah.
Would you suggest little and often more so than big meals?
Absolutely. But that's what I do. I have my breakfast. I eat every 3 hour-ish, sort of, trying to eat every 3 hours.
Yes.
Because that keeps my metabolism going. It keeps me full, but in a nice level full. I'm never hungry.
Nothing worse than that bloating feeling that you've overeaten.
Yeah.
You just feel awful afterwards. And,
exactly.
Don't actually, the whole build up to looking forward to the food, and then you overeat, and then you just feel, oh God, why did I eat so much? I'm not enjoying it now, But it is, it's just getting the happy balance there. But it's funny, we were talking at the break about New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
We're at that time of year now, we're into the end of January now, and I think it's something that we all have the best of intentions.
Yes.
And really it is. But New Year's resolutions are something we're seeing that is more of a thing of the past. People are making so many of these resolutions.
Yeah.
But,
it's kind of a tradition, isn't it? You say, I have to make this resolution, but are you really intending to stick to it?
Yes.
What's a commitment? Yeah, so...
I think it's nice though to have a plan. I think January is a good time for us all to have a plan, a life plan, something that we can aim towards, something that's realistic, as you said. All well and good to plan something and then think you have to have the pressures on to get it done now, But I think if you just give yourself a plan to kind of work towards for that year, it's a really good idea.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were to break it all down and say, okay, my food is completely out the window. I'm eating rubbish all the time, takeaways and drinking too much alcohol, whatever. So you look, okay, how can I reduce that? So going back to the goal setting, what we do is we say, right, what's your outcome goal, your whole outcome goal? So it may be, like I lost over 6 stone in the last 3 years.
Wow.
So I never had that planned though,
Incredible.
That's kind of strange. But so if your outcome goal is X amount of weight you want to lose, or you want to run 10K by the end of the year, whatever that outcome goal is, put it aside, write it down, and then every week, what is the one thing you can do this week that will bring you closer to that big outcome goal? So if it is to lose weight, I could say, right, this week, I'm not going to have... Say you're having a muffin with your morning break every day, or a donut, or whatever it is. And you say, okay, out of the 5 days I'm in work, I'm only going to have the donut 2 days.
Yes.
And the other 3 days I won't. Okay, so that's your first little behaviour goal that you're changing. And then the following week you can say, right, this has worked for me really well, so I'm going to try it 4 days. And before you know it, maybe by the end of the month, you've replaced that donut or whatever with a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
And you're not finding that difficult because it's one little habit. You're still eating everything normal, what you did before.
Yeah, but that
you're
one
not
thing.
changing anything else, only that one thing. And then Once that is a new habit for you, you then can look at what else can I do. Maybe not drinking enough water. So you can say, right, I'm going to have a big cup. That's what I have been doing now, is a big cup of warm water with a slice of lime in it in the morning.
Lime or lemon?
I like lime. You can put lemon in as well.
Okay.
I just like lime.
Yes.
And then I have that before I have my coffee.
Okay.
Now, if you had said to me before, because I want my coffee first, that's what I want in the morning. That's my habit. But I changed that. I attached. It's easier to attach something else to an existing habit.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does,
So
actually.
if you're drinking coffee every morning, it's a habit. You don't even have to think about it. I'm going to have now a warm cup of water first with a slice of lime in it. So I'm starting my water intake first thing in the morning. That sets me up now for the rest of the day. So, you know.
Is that good for the digestion? Is that what they say for the day?
I suppose, yeah, can't do any harm.
This is,
Yeah.
well, they say coffee's good now, which is a lot of us coffee drinkers are delighted to hear. Coffee's good.
Yeah.
It's
Apparently, I've even read somewhere that if you're drinking black coffee before workout, it gets your fat cells ready to burn. Now, I don't know if that's true or not,
amazing,
but
isn't it? Whatever the caffeine does.
Yeah,
it's incredible, isn't it? Really is.
Yeah.
But no, it is. It's fascinating how the brain, really, at the end of the day, it's how we develop these habits and how we break them.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's
if you can
tricking
try
your
and,
brain.
Yeah, it's just retracking the brain.
Yeah,
You know, and we talked a bit about NLP, and
Mhm.
it's all a bit kind of on the
Yeah.
same kind of.
Yeah.
The same kind of
Yeah.
wavelength. It's
Yeah.
the same sort of
Yeah,
theory, isn't
yeah.
it? It's just changing
It's
the
really,
mindset.
it's your thoughts.
Your
It
thoughts.
all goes back down to your
Mm.
thoughts. It's how your thoughts, whatever you're thinking, is going to be the way you feel and how you're going to behave.
Yes.
So it all starts with that sentence in your head, with that story you're telling yourself. So I work a lot also in my profession as a cognitive behaviour therapist. I work with people one-to-one on depression, anxiety and other life issues. And it comes back to the same thing, it's what story are you telling yourself?
That's it.
Some
Absolutely.
people did catastrophize, they see the worst outcome possible in any situation. So they're sort of feeling low because of that, because they say, what's the point? Everything I do is not good. And so you try and work on that thought process.
That's it. And that's the thing with people. I think that some people just beat themselves up over everything and see the worst in everything, and I think, that's a very difficult one. That can take a lot of work, really, but you really have to kind of find something good. And as I always say, you find the best in everybody and make the most of every day.
Absolutely.
And try and find the best part of every day. Even with my kids, I would say that to them.
Yeah.
If the day's not good, if you had a bad day in school, let's do something really good to make the day good, and last on that, that has to be. And
That's
also
great.
see the best in everybody, because if you look for the worst in people,
you will find it.
You'll find it, yeah.
Because nobody's perfect,
No,
really. We
no.
all have faults, and we make mistakes. We do the but there's so much good in everybody.
Yeah, there
and,
is. And this is another one I actually come up. If you expect everyone to act like you and think like you will always be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because not everyone, and
That's
everyone's
very
got
true.
different process of thought. Everyone thinks things differently,
Yeah.
So, I tell you, there's so much. Life teaches us these things, but I think when it comes to children, they're in a certain place, in certain situation, they can't see past the next day. So in some cases,
It's trying to build their self-confidence. There's actually a lovely thing. I don't know if you've heard of the gratitude journal. Have you heard
Yes.
of it?
Oh, listen, I know Eileen Fostel now is a good friend of mine. The Get Up and Go Diaries.
All
And,
right.
she is incredible. The range I think she does, the diaries and the gratitude journal. But
Fantastic.
yes,
yeah.
but tell me.
Well, it's when I was studying psychology, Martin Seligman, he's the founder of positive psychology, and I love his work. And he actually did a lot of research on the gratitude journal and other positive psychology elements. But even with children, if you like that, if you get them, I do that in my groups as well, because you see, the other thing is when you're starting to lose weight and you're emotionally eating, what happens is you're not now satisfying that need with food anymore. So that emotion is going to come up even higher. So if it's a sadness or if it's some negative emotions you're feeling, they're going to be amplified by you stopping to eat the chocolate and all of that.
Okay.
So to counteract that, I've brought into the program the positive, the gratitude journal. So I get people, I ask them to write down 3 things they're grateful for every day and why. The why is really important.
Yes.
And so it's fantastic. And people do it for a week and they come back and say, oh my God, I thought that when you told us to do that, it's a bit, what's that, you know? But I actually think it's changed their way of looking at things.
Absolutely.
Because they're going through the day thinking, okay, what's positive today? Because I have to write it down tonight. So you're looking for the positive.
I think it's brilliant.
It's
isn't it?
fantastic.
But like that's the thing, when you put a pen to paper, like too many of us are on phones and social, you know, what sort of example are we really, you know?
Yeah.
Social media,
Yeah,
and there
yeah,
we
I
are,
know.
you know, and we're all using that form of
Yeah.
you know, writing. But I think that when it comes to a pen and a piece of paper or a diary or something, to write things down, because it just seems to create something in your brain and it triggers things differently. You just have a different process of thought. And to write down something in a gratitude journal and realise what's important and what values.
Yeah.
You know, and to write about the things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And
it could be the smallest thing.
Yeah.
I say sometimes the exam says, I saw the sunset.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, and it really made me feel good, you know. And
Mm.
imagine it teaching young children that already,
I know.
trying to program to look for the positive every
I
day
know.
rather than,
The negative.
you know, who has given out to them or what the teacher said or, oh, I have homework to do. Sure, it's day-to-day life, you know,
I
we have
know.
to take the good with the bad, but
Yeah.
focus in on the positive things that happen.
Absolutely.
Because the negative thing, they will happen anyway. There's
Yeah.
nothing we can do to stop that.
Find
but
the best in every
Exactly,
situation you really
yeah.
have. We're going to take a break for another song,
Mm.
and we're doing a Facebook Live, so we might have some questions here for Susie.
Okay.
Hi guys, anybody still with us? Do we have any likes or any? You enjoying the show? Hope you're enjoying the show, guys. Yeah, good to see you all here. I see you have any questions here. Hi Eileen and Karen and Francis, Dave and Stuart, Stephen. Hi everybody. Do we have any likes? Anybody enjoying the show? Anybody? Loving the show. Thank you so much. Thanks for your support. Kathy and Jim. And who else? Okay, so we've no questions there. I suppose that's a good thing. It means that Susie's answering all the questions that you might have. So I presume that's a good thing. So anyway, hope you're all having a good day today. And today's Friday.
Yeah.
So
weekend is here.
The weekend
now.
is
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
exactly. I know
yeah.
the day we all wait for, you know.
Yeah.
So I hope you're making the most of your day and doing something, and hopefully you're going to write some things in your gratitude journal and be grateful for something today. And maybe it's the fact that you heard Susie and she's probably giving you some good tips and enlightened you in some way, because sometimes it just takes one person to be able to do that. You know, so, and this is all a new experience for Susie. So give her some love. Give her a few thumbs up, because this is our first radio appearance.
Well, I had two before.
You had two
actually,
before,
yeah.
great, okay.
But one was really unexpected. I had got a call on the day. I was actually with Matt Cooper on yeah, but it was literally coming in as a psychologist talking about, you know, children especially weight loss and how, you know, and Professor Shea was talking as well from Loughlinstown. He was on the phone.
Yeah.
And so it was an interesting interview.
Yeah, I'd say so. I know they're all so different, aren't they?
Yeah. So, but that was kind of, you know, I didn't know what to expect at all, because it was literally, can you come in now? And I said, yeah, okay. And I went in, but it was good. It was interesting.
Sometimes it's a case of putting yourself out
It's
there.
better not knowing.
Yeah,
you know,
you
it's
are
just go in
really.
and do it.
And just be yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's all you can. I think that, you know, that's all anybody wants you to do. Is be yourself.
Yeah.
And you know,
be truthful.
Be truthful,
you know,
you know,
exactly,
and not go in there pretending you're something you're not. Just
Exactly.
be truthful and just say it as it is. So if that's what matters, really, you know. So anyway, any questions there? It's good to have you with us.
Sarah, that's my daughter. Hi, Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, it's your daughter. Oh, she's lovely. Oh.
That's the poor deprived child who got no Easter eggs.
Oh
until she was
dear,
two.
you poor thing. I'm tempted to Irish. Wash women today. I can't see this. Something that I should lose a few pounds. Oh, somebody should lose a few pounds. Well, this is January, and everyone's saying that we should lose a few pounds. I suppose it's one of those things. So good to see you all on board. So I think we're back on. Are we? For a minute. Oh, that's a long song, is it?
Yeah. 4 minutes, 12 seconds.
Is it? Okay.
Okay, that's a long song.
Yeah. And how long have we got then? We're just... Yeah, we'll have 15 minutes.
Yeah, you'll have about 18 minutes, give or take, and there's another song like Schumann for 3 minutes. So
if you need it.
Okay,
yeah. So
okay.
you'll have about 15 minutes, give or take.
Very good.
So we'll go into eating. We've done sort of eating styles, the typical clients and tips
Yeah, we
and
talk
stuff
about
like that.
typical client.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be maybe
And,
helpful for people to hear as well.
Typical clients, absolutely, yeah. And then some tips and the benefits. I suppose we talked about the benefits really.
Yeah, I have a list of tips and.
I have my own questions, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask Susie.
Help us out with questions.
Yeah, we love a few questions. We love them. Bring them on, and a few likes would be good as well. If you like
If you
the
like
show.
it.
Yeah, if you like the show, yeah. Don't pretend you like it now. Hopefully you do. Yes, so anyway, that's grand. So we'll just go into, the typical clients. And we're back. And we're back in the studio, Togethrfm studio, and I'm here with Susie Ladola, and we're talking about cognitive behaviour therapies and weight loss and lots of other things. And yes, we were talking during the break about typical clients that you would have. You know, what sort of people come to you?
There's quite a variety, but it's the majority are women.
Okay.
No surprise, I think.
No.
Men tend to tackle it a lot better, I think. I don't know, maybe not, but anyway, on the programme there's mainly women, and they come in wanting to lose maybe a stone or two, and what happens is the 8-week programme runs, and then after the 8 weeks they may repeat the programme because they found such a sense of community in it, and they're starting to see and apply the cognitive behaviour skills to the other aspects of their lives, which is really nice to see, because really all the tools you can apply anywhere in your life, you know, the way you're thinking, and it affects how you behave and how you feel. And so, you know, some people find that, like I had one lady, for example, she started with me last March, and she couldn't come up a flight of stairs, and she was type 2 diabetic. And so, and she, you know, you would have never thought she would do any exercise either. So, you know, almost like I was 3 years ago. You know, I wasn't diabetic.
You were 4 stone.
6 stone.
You know, you've lost 6 stone.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's a
bit at a time.
I think that's what people would really love about your whole program as well, is the fact that you are a prime example of what can be done and what's achievable.
Yeah.
You know, and 6
stone
to somebody,
because,
you know, is a lot, and I think that, you know, that's perfectly achievable, and you know what you can do.
Yeah. And it is achievable, and that's why actually that was part of the program why I'm doing it, because I felt if I can do it, which was, you know, I could never do it before. If I can do it, then anyone can really do it, you know, and I want to show you how to do it. So this lady, anyway, she comes, and she's had to also, typically the clients would have tried everything. Okay, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, Atkins, Pineapple, Cambridge, whatever is out there, basically.
So many. It's
the
so
5'2"
confusing.
and the whatever,
Yeah.
all confusing. And would have lost the weight and then put it back on again.
As you do.
As myself, okay? And then maybe even an extra bit, because you now messed up your metabolism, and so you're starting to put on the weight. So that's a typical client. But this particular lady was same thing, and so she started to follow the plan, and she, you know, participated in the group, and she lost about 4 stone so far. And she started to exercise. So part of my program is...
And how long did it take her to lose 4 stone?
That's interesting that you asked me that,
Yeah.
because everyone asks that, you know.
Yes.
And I try to get away from that completely.
And what's a healthy amount to lose? You know, I suppose you do
It took her
gradually.
since March.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
it's-
She must
yeah.
be. It's no wonder she's coming back.
Yeah.
God knows what she'll be
And
doing
she
next.
loves, and
yeah.
you know what's really good though is I never thought, and she never thought, more to the point, that she would ever exercise. And part of the 8-week program is exercise as well. So we meet once a week in the group situation where we do the support, and then once a week the group meets, or some of the group meets, to do exercise. And I have 2 trainers that do it. I just mentioned them. They're Keane and Adam from ANC Fitness, and they're great lads, and they train with the group. And so she's now training with the lads, and she's not missed a single session, you know, whereas other people might, but she's always there. And now her confidence has increased, and she's, you know, she's just amazing, you know. And then another lady I had, a younger lady, she she was getting married last year, and she came on the program for 8 weeks, and she did the 8 weeks and ran with it. You know, some people, they just take to it so quickly, you know, and some people like myself takes 3 years, you know, and I'm still at it. And but she said, no, I'm getting married, I'm doing this for 8 weeks. But what was really interesting is her trigger was happiness. You know, we're always looking at the negative emotions, sadness or anger or anything like that. But her trigger was happiness. Any time there was a party, or it was Friday, she didn't need an excuse. It was a happy day. Let's get the prosecco and let's get the takeaway and let's celebrate. Okay. So she was always happy. But she learned that she could do something else when she's happy rather than eat or drink. And she lost her weight, got married, and she's back on the program now to lose a little bit more weight because she still wants to go a bit further. But she finds also the support she gets in the group, you know, and everyone in the same boat. And
that's the key, really.
Yeah. So sharing experiences is helping her.
And encourage each other along the way.
Exactly. And then, you know, so that's a typical client you find, you know, that is people who've tried everything.
I think that's the thing, you've kind of covered all angles here, because, you know, you're the inspiration because you've done it. You're living proof that you've lost 4 stone, you know, which is incredible. And I think then, you know, they have the support from the group, which is what you need. Like I look at Operation Transformation now, and the encouragement and the support, and everyone's in it together. Everyone's there to help each other out. But you're covering the cognitive side of it. You're covering the fitness side. You're covering the diet, and you're encouraging the group together to kind of to do well and to kind of work on themselves and bettering themselves and getting their head in the right space, really. And that's what it's really stems from, being in the right headspace, you know, to be able to make that decision to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It sounds fantastic. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there looking to join that group.
Well,
whereabouts are you?
I'm in Tala, in Old Bawn. I have a clinic there.
Very
and
good.
The training takes place in Tymon Bawn Community Centre. But, you know, I'm looking to expand as well. And so if anybody's interested, has a group who wants to do the 8-week programme, you know, get in touch with me and we can arrange that too.
Could they possibly have that group in their own community centres or something like that?
Absolutely.
And have it kind of would be kind of you could travel with it.
Well, I come once a week, you know, and it's for over 8 weeks. You can do the programme. You get a whole manual with it, with worksheets and you know, a lot of education in it as well. A nutritional plan comes with it, and so it's very comprehensive. So I can go. I've been in companies as well where I've run that program too.
It's nice. Companies are a lot more on top of things, aren't they?
They're
promote,
fantastic.
You know, because
really good.
You know, if you have an issue with your food and your diet and you're feeling overweight and you're feeling in a negative sort of a place, you know, it's very hard to overcome that sometimes, you know, and it really is a case of sometimes you need a lot of intervention, sort of, you know, and I think it's a big challenge to take on for yourself, really. Sometimes
Absolutely.
You need to have.
So
I think
support,
it's nice that companies are bringing in these wellness plans and policies, which are really, really helpful, you know. But I want to ask you about some sort of tips, because I know we're running short of time now. Just a couple of tips. Where would you start?
Where would you start?
The small steps make big changes.
Yeah, so it's exactly that. You know, I just want to share this with you. There's one lady on the program, and I asked them, like I said, set yourself a small goal every week. So she says, my goal this week is to make time for myself. So I said to her, well, that's actually a big ask. If you've never, she's also 3 children, and, you know, making time for yourself is maybe too big an ask for the week. And I said, and she says back to me, well, I'll get better with practice.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
It is
I thought that was really nice.
Is.
She's aware it's not going to be easy, and I keep saying you need to change. You know, there's one thing, changing habits actually creates new neural pathways in your brain, and we talk about that as well. So in order to change your habits, you need to change the way your brain is working, all right? So you're creating a new path in your brain every time you start a new habit. It's like cutting with a machete through the jungle. You're creating a new path. And the more often you travel the path, the bigger the path gets. So if you're starting to take care of yourself and make time for yourself, the first time you're going to resist it almost, because it's really hard to do that.
Yes.
But if you do this every day a little bit, the path gets bigger and then it's easier and you can do that. So the first thing I would say is, you know, really break it down into small changes that you want to do, okay? Then I have them written down here. A couple of tips. Another one is stop dieting. Okay.
Okay.
Because
that's an
diets
interesting
don't work.
one. Okay.
All right.
Okay. That's
Stop thinking you're on a diet. And that's where you're thinking, okay, I do one small change. And maybe just being adding more vegetables to your dinner and take away maybe half a potato and replace it with veg, you know, that kind of thing. So learn to listen to your body is the next one. Eat when you're hungry, but really hungry. Try and distinguish between am I emotionally hungry or am I physically hungry? Because you feel it different in your body. A physical hunger, you feel the rumbling in your stomach, you might get saliva in your mouth, you might get actually a bit of a headache because you're so hungry. And emotional hunger, you might feel it in your chest. You know, it's a completely different sensation in your body. So learn, what is it for you? Stop when you're full, obviously, as well. And think about the reasons. Another tip is, why do you want to lose weight? Make them really good, strong reasons. Attach emotions to it. Because then, when you're feeling a little bit weak and you want to have chocolate or cake, that you think, no, actually, those are my reasons. They're really strong reasons. I really want to lose weight. And the other thing is, don't try and stick 100% to a plan that you choose that works for you. Because you start to deprive yourself, and you don't want to do that either. Okay? So it's okay to have the odd takeaway or have the odd glass of wine. The fact is, try and stick to your plan 90% of the time, and 10% of the time, go out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up too much.
And exactly, don't beat yourself up afterwards. You know, learn to identify what are my trigger situations. When maybe do a food diary. I think that's a really good idea. Is to do a food diary, and a lot of people hate doing it, but it's really good to monitor. You might see a trend every day at 3:00. I'm having whatever, a packet of crisps. Yeah. So then I can think, what's happening every day at 3:00? What's going on for me? Okay, maybe I'm in between running to schools and picking up kids, and I'm stressed and I'm hungry and I forgot to eat my lunch. So you can identify what time of the day is it for you that you may be overeating. So you can address it then. So that's a tip. And then, you know, planning, like we said earlier. Plan your week. Plan your shopping, Then set your goals, short-term goals, and you know, small goals. And the last one I have here is really be kind to yourself. Yeah, don't beat yourself up. You know, just do your best you can. Take every day as it happens. You know, some days are good, some days are bad, and try to bring in your behaviour changes really one step at a time. That's the biggest thing.
Fantastic! I tell you, they're great tips to have. I hope everyone's has got so much from those tips. They've been great. I've loved having you on the show today. I think it's been fantastic.
Well, thanks very much. It was enjoyable chatting with you.
It's just like having an old chat with a friend. But listen, I know a lot of people want to contact you. Well, how will they get a hold of you? Do you have I
have a website.
Okay,
great. So
lovely.
that is mindoverbodyweightloss.com.
Okay.
I have a Facebook page as well, Mind Over Body Weight Loss. I also have a free group you can join.
Great.
It's Mind Over Body Weight Loss, start a new healthy lifestyle or something like that.
Yes, okay.
But it's a free group. You can join it, and I put up interesting articles on CBT for weight loss and you know, different things, and the community can interact. So if you want to join, please send a link and you can join.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so
that's great. That's great. It's nice to have the group, and I think that will make such a difference to so many. Well, listen, thank you so much for today.
Thanks,
it's been great having you on the show, and thanks for listening in, everybody. And I'll be back at the same time next week, so hope you'll join me then. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I hope that all made sense.
It did. It all makes sense. It was great. And well done, you. Brilliant.
Oh, thanks.
And we're
for
still on
having me,
Facebook Live there. Hi, everybody. Might you have a little question for us? And okay. Let's see. Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening in. You're doing great. Thank you, Sarah. So you go. No questions. So that's always a good thing. Obviously, Susie has covered all angles.
Okay.
So listen, thanks for your support today and for listening into the show. And it's been good to kind of have you listening in. And we'll have the podcast ready. Susie will have a podcast on the show within the next few weeks. So she'll be able to share it with you. For anybody that hasn't listened in, I'm sure you can watch back. Okay, well, have a great weekend. Okay, take care.
Bye.